So expeditions are holidays, they're tours, cycling tours. There's a lot of similar tours out there that explore through a lot of the popular destinations. Our expeditions are bicycle tours, they're cycling holidays, but they're a bit different. They're built on the adventures and the fun times that our team that we've had on the bike. They came out of us wanting to share those awesome adventures that we've had to some of the more exotic places in the world where I guess not so many people go, not so many people go with their bikes, or perhaps it's a little bit more difficult to go to. Building our expeditions around these cool, these interesting, these slightly different places would be a really fun way to get people off the couch, get people exploring on their bike, but with a little bit of support, with somebody there to help them along. Our tours, our expeditions, they're cycling holidays, but they're a bit different. You're not going to be staying in these sheltered environments, 5-star lodges and resorts, that kind of vibe. It's a little bit more real. We stay in very nice accommodation, but we try to make the experience very real for where you are. So when we're making an expedition in Mongolia, we stay and we interact with a lot of local people. We meet local families. We're introduced to the customs of that culture. When we travel to Argentina on our El Gaucho expedition, we stay with an indigenous family up on the salt flats at 3,000 meters above sea level. These are things that I guess not every tour operator does, but for us it's a really important part of it because it's a real part of travel. It's a real part of traveling by bike, is often end up going to these places where there's not a lot of hotel services around. So doing homestays with local families is in their B&B setups is really the only way to get a bed for the night. So it's something really different, but we feel that it's a bit more genuine, it's a bit more reflective of what real adventure, real travel by bike, what it's really like. Essentially, it's a supported bikepacking tour. There's lots of other tours out there. Stay in one hotel for a week or for a few days and you kind of ride a lot of the famous climbs or famous roads in a particular area. Our expeditions are different in that they're usually point-to-point adventures. So every night we're staying in a different hotel, and your job as an expeditionist, as a touring gaucho, as a touring rhino, depending on which country you're in, your mission for the day is to cycle to the next point. And our distances are usually around 100 kilometers, sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more, but you're essentially bikepacking from point to point, albeit with some support, with somebody to help carry some of the bags, some of your luggage, to carry extra food, extra water, mechanical support. We'll always have a support car, we'll always have a vehicle there behind our group. Most people are looking for a holiday where they can get on their bike, ride in an amazing place, and they don't have to worry about all the fuss is a great way to introduce themselves to what self-supported bikepacking could be like. Knowing that you're going to have some support, knowing that you're going to have guides, people who have at least ridden the roads before, it gives you a sense of reassurance that you're not going into uncharted territory. There can be a real difference in culture, and for us that's part of the most interesting and memorable parts of bikepacking. You get to meet all of these amazing people out on the road that you probably wouldn't meet if you were traveling in a car or you were traveling as part of a big group tour. And when you travel in a small expedition group, you catch the eye of a lot of local people. A 60-kilometer climb in the Andes in Argentina, every car that goes past is tooting the horn and yelling and cheering, but you can expect incredible scenery, amazing food, very, very different culture, and you can expect to meet a lot of these local people and actually have conversations with them. A really interesting and educational and transformative cultural experience, because the memories that you take away from these these tours are just lifelong memories that you need to have a base level of fitness. So you need to be riding your bike, fairly regularly. Usually we like to sort of suggest you need to be at around 7 hours a week as a bit of a base level starting point, and then as you get closer to the expedition, you need to be upping that. You need to be doing, I guess, some more regular, longer days on the bike. You know, so in the weekends, in those months leading up to it, you need to be, you know, doing a 6-hour ride, you know, back to back on a Saturday and a Sunday. So you need to have a base level of fitness, but you also don't need to feel scared or worried about your fitness. I think a lot of people get a bit worried that they're going to be left behind, or they're going to be dropped and they're going to be left out there on the step, or, you know, on the mountaintop alone, which isn't going to happen. It wouldn't work very well if we did that. Yeah, what we try to do is help people, you know, and help talk to people in that lead up period, whether it's 3, 6 or 12 months, of helping them prepare not just their legs, but all of their equipment, their bike, their setup, what gear they need to bring. But in terms of training, we help all of our guests to help prepare. And I spend a lot of time going back and forth communicating on what sort of training you need to be doing, how many Ks, what sort of riding have you been doing, and sometimes it's even putting together training plans to help people, you know, get some good riding in. But